In a moment, you'll hear James Stewart as the six-shooter. Just one of many fine programs brought to you each week on NBC. Tomorrow night, there's top comedy entertainment with the Bob Hope Show, the Phil Harris-Alice Faye Show, and Can You Top This with Senator Ford. Bob Hope delivers rapid-fire comedy routines, while Phil Harris and Alice Faye bring both mirth and music. It's a great Friday night lineup of comedy programs, all of them heard only on NBC. James Stewart as the six-shooter. The man in the saddle is angular and long-legged. His skin is sun-dyed brown. The gun in his holster is gray steel and rainbow mother of pearl. Its handle unmarked. People call them both the six-shooter. The NBC Radio Network presents James Stewart as the six-shooter, a transcribed series of radio dramas based on the life of Britt Ponset, the Texas plainsman who wandered through the Western Territories, leaving behind a trail of still-remembered legends.
It was a little over 4 years since last time I worked for the Wilcox outfit, but when George Wilcox wrote me about his pa's death and said he needed somebody to handle the cattle drive east to Abilene, well, there weren't exactly any other demands on my services, so I headed up to Adobe Junction and rode through the town to the Wilcox Ranch a couple miles beyond. It was getting on toward evening when I pulled into the yard, and, whoa, boy, whoa, Scar, whoa. Only about 8 or 10 steers in the main corral over back of the house. Well, maybe George hadn't finished the roundup yet, or maybe he was going to start the drive from out on the range. Whatever it was, he'd have to get started pretty soon or the weather'd be against us.
Yes?
Good evening, ma'am. Is George Wilcox in?
Why, Mr. Ponset, don't you remember me?
What?
I'm Viola Wilcox, George's sister.
Viola No, why, I just can't believe it.
Well, I guess I have changed since you last saw me.
Change? Why, gee, well, you've practically grown up overnight, Viola.
There are some folks around here who wouldn't agree with you, Mr. Ponset.
Oh?
Who is it, Vi?
It's Mr. Ponset, George.
Britt? Why, Britt, boy, you old rattlesnake. It's about time you turned up here.
How are you, George?
Pretty good, pretty good. Put on another plate, Vi. Britt will be here for supper.
Oh, I wouldn't like to impose. No, I mean, you probably weren't expecting me tonight.
Why, we've been expecting you for the last week. Vi's had the spare room ready since Monday.
Well, if you're sure there's enough food, Viola.
Oh, there'll be plenty, Britt. As a matter of fact, I won't be eating supper at home tonight.
Now, Viola, I told you weren't...
I'll call you when everything's ready.
I guess we might as well wait in the parlor, Britt.
Sure. I hope I'm not too late for the drive, George.
Late?
Well, you said you've been expecting me for several days, and I didn't see much stock in the corral.
Oh, the boys are still out on the roundup. They're a little late. I couldn't go out with them this year.
Oh, that's all.
They'll probably show up sometime tomorrow, or Friday at the latest. You can start off then.
You won't be going long?
No. I'm going to stick around here.
Uh-huh. I was real sorry to hear about your father, George.
He went easy, Britt. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. You know, I just can't get over how Viola's changed. Why, she's turned out to be a real pretty young lady, hasn't she? I'll bet she's got more beaux than any other girl in the whole county.
She could have, I guess, if she wanted them.
What?
Britt, do you remember Judd Coffin?
Coffin?
He was that outlaw from up around Cloud City. You had something to do with capturing him, as I recollect.
Well, I was sort of in the neighborhood when it happened.
I was just a kid then, but Pa took me over to Cloud City to see Coffin's trial, and hanging afterward. I guess he figured it'd be a good lesson for me.
Uh-huh.
He was right, too. I never forgot it. There's something else I never forgot either. The way Judd Coffin looked. His eyes. His nose. Everything about him. He was born to be a killer. It was writ all over him.
No, I don't know now, George.
Well, I do. And now he's back here again.
Well, what are you talking about? Judd Coffin was hung. You saw it yourself. You just said so, George.
Judd had a brother. A few years younger. I don't remember his name, but I saw him at the trial, too.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, now that you mention it, it seems to me there was another Coffin boy. What about him?
There's a young fella started working for the Mercantile in Adobe Junction, and if he
I'll
ain't...
be right there, Hank. Everything's on the table, George. Just stack the dishes when you finish eating, and I'll do them when I get home.
Now, you hold up a minute,
See
Viola.
you later, Britt. Night.
Come over here, Britt. Over here to the window.
What?
There he is in that buggy. Now, you take a good look.
Well,
Now, don't he look just like Judd?
Well, it's been quite a while, George. I've sort of forgotten Judd Coffin.
Well, I ain't forgot him. I couldn't, not ever. I can still see him when they led him up to them gallows. I can still see his eyes, killer's eyes. And that's his brother out there riding away with my sister, ain't it? Well, ain't it?
Well, maybe he does sort of resemble Judd in a way, but why...
It's more than a resemblance, Britt. I've seen him up close. He's a spitting image.
I don't see what difference it makes, George, unless he's been causing trouble, and even then...
Britt, he's only been around here for a couple of months. Just give him time. He'll cause plenty of trouble.
Maybe so. But now listen, George.
Britt, if a man's got bad blood in him, it's bound to come out sooner or later. It's bound to.
George, it seems to me a fellow ought not to be blamed for what his brother's done.
If he ain't up to something, then why don't he admit who he is?
What do you mean?
Says his name's Hank Wallace. Says he never heard of Judd Coffin.
Well, he ought to know.
He's lying, Britt. You saw the resemblance yourself.
Well, resemblance doesn't always prove anything, you know.
You think I want a man like that going around with my own sister? Why, she's barely 18. She don't know nothing about the world or about people. I'm all she's got now. I can't let her throw her life away on Judd Coffin's brother. I've got to stop her.
Yeah, I guess she is sort of your responsibility. But, George, how about that supper? I'm kind of hungry.
Hey, you go ahead, Britt. I ain't got much appetite.
Oh, all right.
Britt,
Yeah?
maybe this sounds like I'm butting into Vi's business, but I got no choice. Just before he died, Pa warned me, told me what would happen.
No?
Britt, it wasn't 6 weeks after the funeral before she started going around with this fella. I tried to talk sense to her. It don't do no good. Now I gotta put my foot down. You understand how I feel, don't you, Britt?
Yes, George. Sure, I understand. Well, I went ahead and had some supper. Cold ham, potato salad with bacon in it, and stewed peaches for dessert. Wasn't anything exceptional, but it was filling enough. And afterwards, since George hadn't eaten anything, I decided maybe I'd go ahead and do the dishes. The dish pan was hanging right beside the sink, so I pumped some water in it. There was only a couple plates and cups to wash. But the handle on that cup just wasn't very substantial, and when it slipped... Oh, doggone it. Well, looked like it was beyond the gluing stage, so I kind of got the pieces swept together and put them in the garbage bucket. I wasn't exactly trying to hide them or anything like that, but, there were plenty of other cups in the cupboard. Anyhow, I walked back into the parlor and said goodnight to George and went upstairs to bed. I figured he was going to wait up for Viola, and I didn't suppose she'd like the idea, but it wasn't any of my business, so no. I was kind of tired anyway. And Viola sure didn't like it either. At least that's how it sounded to me when I woke up about 1 o'clock and heard her and George going at it, hammer and tongs in the downstairs hallway.
What I do or where I go.
I'm your brother, Viola.
Well, you're not my keeper.
He's no good.
If he was, he wouldn't keep you out until all hours of the night.
Staying out was my idea. I didn't want to come home because I knew I'd have to sit here and listen to you.
Well, you're gonna listen. I told you who he was, but you wouldn't believe me. Now maybe you'll believe Britt.
Don't drag him into this, please. Please, George.
Britt? Britt, are you still awake?
George, I asked you not to.
Britt?
Yeah? Yeah, what's trouble?
Would you mind coming down here?
Well...
It'll only take a minute, Britt.
Well, all right, George. All right, give me a chance to put my pants on. I sure didn't like the idea of mixing into a family argument, but I didn't like I was going to get any sleep till George had simmered down, so I pulled on my trousers and I slapped a little cold water in my face. Then I headed out in the hall. I could see Viola standing at the bottom of the stairs, and her face was real white, and her eyes were kind of wide open and determined. George was holding onto her arm. The way his jaw was set, well, he was just as determined as she
was. Any of my business.
Well, I do care. It's for your own good, Vi.
Well, good evening, Viola.
Mr. Ponset, I'm awful sorry that you have to get involved in this. And I'm ashamed, too.
Well, you ought to be.
Not for myself. I'm ashamed for you, George.
For me? I'm not running around with no outlaw disgracing my family. Britt, you tell her. Tell her who he really is.
Now, George, I never saw the man before in my whole life.
You noticed the resemblance right off, didn't you? You remarked on it. That man, Judd Coffin's brother, Vi.
Is that what you got Mr. Ponset down here to tell me?
Well, ain't that reason enough?
No, it's not enough.
He's been lying to you, pretending to be somebody else. Don't you care?
He hasn't lied to me, George. I know who he is. I've known it since we first met. He told me he was Hunt Coffin.
He told you?
He was afraid folks around here would hold it against him. That's why he changed his name. And it looks to me like he was right.
You knew who he was and you went right on seeing him?
Can't you understand, George? He's not to blame for something his brother did. They're two different people.
The same blood's in him that was in Judd Coffin. And he'll turn mean and pull the same kind of stunt his brother did, and he'll end up the same way.
Oh, that's crazy. Why, he doesn't even carry a gun. You've seen him often enough. You know he doesn't.
He can get a gun easy enough, and he will. The very first time he figures he needs one.
Mr. Ponset, won't you talk to George? Maybe you can make him see that I'm not a child, that I know my own mind.
Well, it seems to me we've all done enough talking for one night. Anyway, I sure could use a little more sleep. You know, things may look different in the morning. Don't you think so? You know.
Mr. Ponset's right. We'd better go to bed, too.
Things won't be any different tomorrow, Vi, not as far as I'm concerned. I'm telling you here and now, you're not to see young Coffin again, ever.
I'm going to marry him, George.
What?
I wasn't intending to tell you yet. I thought maybe later you'd come around, but I guess you never will. I promised him tonight.
Promised him? You don't know what you're saying, Vi.
George, let go!
You're just doing this to spite me, ain't you? Well, I'll teach you.
I'm in love with him.
In love with a man like that? I'll slap some sense into you, but takes me all night.
Hey, George, now get a hold of yourself.
You heard what he said. She's going to marry him. Well, she'll be singing a different tune before...
No, wait a minute.
You stay out of this,
George.
She's my sister.
I don't care whose sister she is. Now, let go of her. All right, now, George, come on. Let's go upstairs.
It's for her own good, Britt, what I done.
I guess you must have thought it was.
Someday she'll realize it was for her own good. She can't marry him, Britt. She just can't.
Well, treating her the way you did is apt to make her more set on it than ever.
She'll get over that idea fast enough now that she knows I mean business. Someday she'll thank me for slapping her.
Yeah. All right, let's get some sleep, George. Come on.
You are listening to The Six Shooter, starring James Stewart as Britt Ponset, the Texas plainsman whose name has become legend throughout the West. Now, Act 2 of the story called Blood Relations.
took me a little while to get back to sleep, but I didn't hear anything more out of George or Viola during the night, so that was something. When I finally woke up again, I just didn't feel like I'd had any rest at all. And it was late, too, nearly 6 o'clock. I got dressed and I went downstairs. Viola was fixing breakfast. Her eyes were sort of red, and there was a little splotch on her cheek where George had slapped her. But she didn't say anything about it, and I sure didn't see any point in opening up the subject. So a couple of minutes later, George came in from doing his chores, and we all sat down at the table. He didn't eat much, just some coffee, and as soon as he was finished, he said he was riding out to the high grass to see if the roundup was on its way down. I offered to go along with him, and so we got on our horses and started off.
You see, Britt, what'd I tell you? She's all right now. She got that nonsense about young Coffin out of her head.
Oh, maybe so.
Yeah, she didn't mention him again, did she?
No.
I reckon if she were still thinking about him serious, she'd have said so.
Yeah,
She's a Wilcox, Britt. We don't go around making fools of ourselves. Not for long, anyway.
We kept on riding for a couple of hours until we got to the high ground. But we didn't see any signs of the roundup, so finally we turned around and headed back to the ranch house.
I don't know what's taking them so long. They should have been down a couple of days ago.
Oh?
If they don't show up by morning, we'll have to start looking for them.
Oh, whatever you say, George.
Here we are. Whoa, Frenchie, whoa, boy, whoa. Hey, you know something, Britt? I've got kind of an appetite.
Oh, I don't doubt it, the way you've been eating lately. Easy, Scar. Easy.
Well, I'll sure make up for it this noon. I wonder what she's fixed for us. Vi? We're back, Vi. Must be out in the kitchen. That's funny. Vi?
Oh, just a minute, George.
Oh, she's upstairs. That's why she didn't hear me. How about some food, Vi?
I didn't know you'd be here. You didn't say anything when you left.
I'm usually here for dinner, ain't I?
Yeah. Well, it'll take a couple of minutes to get something ready. I just got back from town.
You what?
Well, I guess I'll go wash up.
What were you doing in town, Vi?
I wanted to see Hunt.
Oh. Well, I suppose you did have to explain things to him. I guess he was entitled to that much. How'd he take it? When you told him you couldn't marry him?
I didn't tell him that, George. We're going to get married as soon as we can. He's coming to get me tonight.
Well, I sure didn't feel like sticking around for another one of their arguments, so I sort of sneaked out the front door and climbed into the saddle. Let's go, boy. Come on. I figured I'd ride in town and get me something to eat while I was at it. Maybe while I was gone, George and Viola would come to some sort of an understanding. At least I hoped they would. It took me about 30 minutes to reach Adobe Junction. Looked like there was only one cafe. Molly's Home Cooked Meal. Right next door to the Mercantile. Whoa, boy. Whoa, Scar. Whoa. Tossed the reins over a hitching rail and started into the restaurant.
Mr. Ponset? You're Britt Ponset, ain't you?
That's right.
Viola told me what you looked like, but I'd have recognized you anyway.
Oh?
You're a six-shooter. I've heard a lot about that gun. How fast you are with it. My brother, well, he found out firsthand.
Your brother?
Judd Coffin.
I see.
My name is Hunt Coffin, Mr. Ponset.
Yeah, I sort of figured that.
I just wanted you to know I sure do appreciate what you did last night, taking Viola's part with George.
While George was pretty upset, I don't think he meant to carry on that way. He's real fond of his sister when you get right down to it.
If he ever hits her again, I'll kill him.
Well, I guess you and Viola won't have to worry much about George any longer.
What do you mean?
Well, she says you're going to get married right away. You're coming out after her tonight, is that right?
She told you that?
Well, sure. That's true, isn't it?
Oh, I didn't want him to know. He'll try to stop us. I told her not to say anything. We could have been gone before he ever found out.
Now, Viola's not the kind of a person to do a thing behind anybody's back.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's something else he ought to know. I bought me a gun this morning, Mr. Ponset.
Is that so?
I'll be out at the Wilcox place as soon as I get off work tonight. And I'll have the gun with me.
Uh-huh. And George said you'd get a gun the first time you figured you needed one.
Well, he was right.
Yeah. It sure looks like he was. Well, so long, Coffin.
What in thunder happened to you, Britt?
Oh, I thought maybe you and Viola ought to have a chance to talk this out in private, so I rode in town.
You needn't have bothered.
Huh?
Tried to talk to her, but she just wouldn't listen.
She wouldn't, huh?
I don't know what to do, Britt. I just don't. After last night, I thought she'd see things my way. I guess you were right. She's more set in marrying him now than ever. If Paul was still alive, he'd find some way of stopping her. I guess I'm letting him down.
Well, where's Vi now?
Upstairs, packing. I thought about locking her in her room, but it just wouldn't do no good. Besides, she ain't to blame, not really.
That's right, George. A person just can't
It's
help
his
it.
fault. Everything that's happened. And it's him I'm going to take care of.
As a matter of fact, I ran into Hunt Coffin while I was in town.
You saw it?
Yeah, we had a little chat. He's kind of upset about what happened last night.
He's upset. He'll have something to get upset about if he comes around here tonight.
Well, maybe you ought to know, George. He's got himself a gun.
There. What'd I tell you? Just like his brother. Why? Why, your friend's coming out here with a gun. He means to kill me. A man who'll take up a gun once, he won't stop, not as long as he lives. Now what do you think of it?
Viola didn't answer George. She just stayed upstairs and went on with whatever she was doing. George walked into the hall. I heard him rummaging around in the closet. And he was gone for a minute or so, and then he came back into the parlor. He was carrying his pa's old Winchester rifle. He jammed some cartridges into the magazine and stared out of the window. The sun was just beginning to drop behind the hills to the west, and the shadows on the slopes were turning orange. And George pulled up a chair and sat down. The rifle was lying on his lap, the barrel pointing toward the open window beside him. George?
Yeah?
You use that gun, you'll be doing the very thing you accuse him of.
There's a difference, Britt. This is my property. Pa left it to me outright.
Sure.
If Hunt Coffin sets foot on it, he's trespassing. I got a right to shoot a trespasser, ain't I?
No, you haven't. Not under these circumstances.
You gonna interfere? You gonna take his side?
I'm not taking anybody's side. I'm riding into town, and I won't be back. You'll have to hire somebody else to handle your cattle drive.
Suits me. I'll be able to handle the cattle myself now. I won't have to stay here after tonight.
You know, George, he might kill you. Leastwise, if he takes after his brother, there's a good chance of it.
Well, it looks like you're going to be around for it, whatever happens.
What?
There he is now, pulling into the yard.
Coffin! Get out of here, Coffin! I don't want no trouble, Wilcox.
Well, then start moving.
I'm taking Viola with me.
You're not taking anybody.
I could see Hunt Coffin through the window over George's shoulder. He was climbing down from his buggy. Looked like he was carrying a .44 in his holster. George Wilcox stood up. His back shut off my view of Hunt. He shoved the stock of his rifle against his shoulder, and his finger curled around the trigger. He shifted his weight onto one foot, and I got a glimpse of Hunt again. His right hand was inching toward that .44, but he hadn't pulled it out yet.
I'm coming in and get her, Wilcox. Go on and draw. I know you got a gun. Go on, use it. I don't think I'll need it.
I gave him a chance. You heard me, Britt. He
There
wouldn't
wasn't
take
much
it. You
time
heard
to
me.
answer him. His finger was already squeezing back. There wasn't even time to get over to him. I grabbed for my gun. The bullet hit him right in the arm, spun him half around. For a second, I didn't know what had happened. I hadn't fired at him. I hadn't even had a chance to finish drawing. And then I saw a little spiral of smoke on the hall stairs behind him.
Viola,
Put down that rifle, George.
you're crazy, Vi.
Why? Are you all right?
Stay there, Hunt. I'll be right out. Put it down, George. Now, I'm going away with Hunt. And if you come after me, it won't be Hunt who will stop you. Kind of funny, isn't it? You always said Hunt would turn out bad because his brother was that way. And they both had the same blood in them. What about it, George? Would you be willing to shoot me?
What are you talking about, Vi? You know I'd never do a thing like that.
Why not? I was willing to shoot you. We've got the same blood, haven't we? Goodbye, George. Goodbye, Mr. Ponset.
So long, Vi. Good luck.
Upward. Up.
She wasn't making any sense, Britt, asking if I'd shoot her. Why, that's just plain foolishness.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll take you into town, George. You better see the doc about that arm.
My own sister. My own flesh and blood. Sure had her figured wrong.
Well, maybe you had young Coffin figured wrong, too. Come on, let's go. Well, the next morning the boys brought in George's herd, and what with that arm of his and all, I agreed to drive them north. It was nearly 3 months before I got back to Adobe Junction again. Viola and Hunt there were married and had a little house in town. But George, he hadn't been near me. Hadn't said a word to Vi since that night she left the ranch. Vi was kind of upset about it, but she kept telling herself that sooner or later George would see where he'd been wrong and he'd come around. I don't know. Maybe he will. Maybe he will.
The Six-Shooter is a transcribed NBC Radio Network production in association with Review Productions. It is written by Frank Burt and is based on a character created by him. Mr. Stewart may currently be seen in the Universal International picture The Glenn Miller Story. Others in the cast were Barbara Eiler, Herb Ellis, and Sam Edwards. Special music for this program was by Basil Adlam, and the entire production is under the direction of Jack Johnstone. All characters and incidents were fictitious, and any resemblance to actual characters or incidents is purely coincidental. Oh, by the way, you'll be interested in knowing that the Six-Shooter has been chosen for broadcast to our men overseas through the facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Services. This is John Wall speaking. Macdonald Carey stars in Jason and the Golden Fleece tonight on the NBC Radio Network. In just a moment, you'll hear James Stewart as the Six-Shooter. There's music for you tomorrow evening with two of your favorite song stylists. First, it's the Dinah Shore Show, and then songs with Sinatra. There's laughter, too, in your Friday lineup with three comedy favorites. The Bob Hope Show with Bob's guest Jerry Colonna, the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, and Can You Top This? It's a great Friday night program lineup, all of them heard only on NBC. James Stewart as the Sick Shooter. The man in the saddle is angular and long-legged. His skin is sun-dyed brown. The gun in his holster is gray steel and rainbow mother of pearl. Its handle unmarked. People call him both the Sick Shooter. The NBC Radio Network presents James Stewart as the Sick Shooter, a transcribed series of radio dramas based on the life of Britt Ponset, the Texas plainsman who wandered to the Western Territories, leaving behind a trail of still remembered legends.
It was about 7 o'clock on a Saturday evening, and I was riding down the east trail that led from Castle City over to Crown Ranch. Been a real warm day. A little breeze was coming up now, and things were cooling off to a nice, comfortable twilight. I hadn't seen any signs of habitation for the last few miles. The soil was pretty thin and sandy. Probably wouldn't grow much. But a little further on, the ground turned brown, rich-looking. I noticed a frame house sitting back, 50 yards back from the trail. When I was almost even with the house, the front door opened and somebody came running out toward me.
Hey, mister, would you hold up a minute, mister?
Young boy, it looked like, about 15, 16, wearing blue jeans and a checkered shirt and a little peaked cap pulled down over his ears. Whoa, Scar. Whoa, boy. Whoa, boy. Howdy, son. What can I do for you?
You come from town, mister?
That's right.
You didn't run across Friendly DeWitt on the trail, did you?
Friendly DeWitt?
You know him, don't you, mister? He runs the traveling mercantile.
How's that?
Oh, sure, we're too far out to get into town very much, so he brings around a wagon load of goods every once in a while. I just don't know what we'd do without him.
Well, don't stand out there all night jawing. Just find out about Friendly, like I told you.
The gentleman ain't seen him, ma'am.
Oh, shut up, Fern. You can wear something else if you have to. The supper dishes are waiting, Cindy Lou.
What was that she called you?
Cindy Lou?
But that's a girl's name. Oh, in this light here, the way you were dressed, I sort of thought maybe you were...
It don't matter. Thanks again, mister. So long.
So long. Cindy Lou. Well, I gave Scar a little touch of my heel. Be cool. Come on, boy. We started off. I figured I'd had about 8 miles to go before I'd reach the Crown Ranch. I hadn't been through this part of the country in quite a spell. But I was pretty certain Floyd Prince would remember me from the old days. He'd sign me on for the summer if he had an opening. Come on, Scar. Come on. It was about 15 minutes later, and I came to the fork in the trail. I saw a wagon rolling along from the south. It was some wagon, too. Almost twice the size of anything I'd ever run into before. And the way the canvas bulged out, it looked like it was loaded to the brim. Well, it stood to reason that this was the traveling mercantile that Cindy Lou had mentioned. Whoa, Scar. Whoa.
Whoa, Casey. Easy now. Easy there. Howdy, friend.
Good evening. You're, Mr. DeWitt, I take it.
You take it right, sir, except for that Mr. part. Just call me Friendly, like the rest of the folks. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Something you needin', mister?
No.
Shoelaces, chewing tobacco, flour, salt, kitchen utensils, ammunition, yardage, zone equipment, anything at all. Just you name it, I got it, here in my wagon.
Yeah, it sounds like quite an assortment there.
Oh, that's only a part of it. I didn't even touch on my medical supplies.
Oh.
Old Doc Barstow's painkiller, Seth Simple all-purpose salve, Miss Jenny's bunion plasters and corn removers. You got any corns that's troubling you, mister? They're just a thing.
No, I don't do too much walking.
Oh. some liniment then.
No, thanks just the same. I'm in pretty good health.
Well, what about wearing apparel? I got a full line of Levi's shirts, bandanas, cotton and wool socks.
No, I'm just not in the market for anything friendly. The only reason I stopped was to tell you that those folks down the trail were getting kind of anxious about you.
Folks down the trail?
Uh-huh. You know, the farmhouse a couple miles back there.
Well, I just can't imagine who you're talking about, mister. I ain't even headed that way. I'm making a delivery over the Davis Ranch near Evergreen. Davis girl's getting married tomorrow morning. I'm bringing all the paraphernalia for the wedding. You sure somebody in this neighborhood's looking for me?
They seem to be. I don't know the family's name exactly. The girl I bumped into is called Cindy Lou.
Well, that must be Cindy Lou Ames. But why would... Great yellow pumpkins. Hattie Ames. That dress she ordered for her daughter Fern. What time you make it out to be, mister? I ain't unpacked my shipment of alarm clocks yet.
Oh, it must be 7:30.
Well, maybe I can get there before they leave. If I don't, Hattie Ames will skin me alive. Giddy up, Teddy. Come on now. Come on, Francis. Come on. I knew there was something else. And I was working on that dress only this morning, too. Shortening the hem. So long, mister. Hope you enjoy the square dance.
Dance? What do you... Come on, Scar. Come on. Dance? What are you talking about?
Well, that's where you're heading, ain't it? The Crown Ranch?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is, but I didn't know about any dance or anything. I was going to ask Floyd Prince for a job.
You mean tell me you ain't heard about the celebration tonight?
No, not a word.
Well, it's account of Floyd Prince's son. He just come home from schooling back east.
Well, you mean Monty Prince?
Yeah, that's the boy's name. You know him, mister?
Oh, I used to. He was just a little shaver then. He's all grown up, huh?
Well, he must be 20 or so, somewheres along in there. I guess he'll be taking over the crown one of these days.
I see. Well, I reckon better put off my job hunting until some other time. I wouldn't want to bother Floyd and give him a party. I'll ride along with you for a spell, friendly.
Well, if you're an acquaintance of Floyd Prince's, I imagine you'd be more than welcome at his party. Practically everybody in the neighborhood's been invited.
Maybe so. But fact is, I'm not too good at square dancing. I don't know, but there's just something about my legs. A little too much of them, I reckon.
Well, I just hope you're the only absentee.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, Hattie's daughter Fern, she was planning to wear this here dress her ma ordered from me.
Oh.
Yeah, like as not she's having a tantrum right now. She sure takes after Hattie.
She does, huh?
Yes, sir. And mind not delivering her outfit on time, well, there'll be real catastrophe. You see, Hattie's aiming to marry her Fern off to this young Monty Prince. And she'll probably manage it, too. Hattie usually gets her own way. Uh-oh. Look over there, mister. Buggy coming up the trail. That'll be Hattie and Fern on the way to the crown.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Well, it's too late to do anything about the dress now if they're started off. Yeah, the best thing for me to do is to stay out of sight. I'll get my wagon over here under these trees here.
Well,
easy, Francis, easy now.
But what do you... They're bound to see you sitting there.
Oh, you don't know Hattie Ames like I do.
What do you mean?
Why, she's as nearsighted as a buffalo. Can't see her hand in front of her face unless she's wearing her bifocals.
Oh.
And she won't be wearing them either. Not if she's heading for Shindig.
Well, what about the daughter?
Well, I told you, Fern takes after her mother. She's as blind as a bat without her spectacles.
I see.
Here they come. there. What did they tell you?
Oh, doggone. They never even glanced over toward us, did they?
No, not a glance. Well, I guess I might as well mosey over to the Davis Ranch. Nice meeting you, Mr.
No, I'm sorry, friendly. I meant to introduce myself. My name's Ponset, Britt Ponset.
Oh, why, Mr. Ponset, I didn't recognize you.
Oh, no reason why you should, friendly. No reason you should.
Well, I heard so much about you. And that gun. Here, Mr. Ponset, here. I got me some samples of a new hair tonic. Smells real elegant, too. Maybe you'd like to try it. They say it'll grow fuzz on... Not that there's anything matter with your hair, you understand?
Well, my supply is kind of decreasing. A little tonic might be very handy.
All right, sir. Just a second now. I got it right back here. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, thanks, friendly.
My pleasure, Mr. Ponset. My pleasure. Well,
Say, I just happened to think, what happened to the other daughter? Well, that buggy that just went by, there were only 2 women in it. Now, the girl I met back at the farm, she wasn't
Oh, you mean Cindy Lou? Well, she wouldn't be going to Prince's dance.
She wouldn't have.
No. You see, Hattie ain't got much use for her. Cindy ain't Hattie's real kin. She's just a stepdaughter.
Oh.
Yeah, Hattie and Fern, well, they just seem to go out of their way to make things miserable for her. Like this here dance, for instance. Everybody knows that Monty Prince and Cindy Lou used to be real friendly when they was kids. Well, she'd probably give her eye tooth to go to that party tonight, see him again, but, well...
It's too bad she can't.
Yeah, but there's nothing anybody can do about it. Why, she don't even have a dress to her name. You know, I've got a hunch she'd be real pretty if Hattie ever allowed her to fix herself up.
Well, she seemed a mighty nice-looking girl to me.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah.
What's the matter?
Why shouldn't Cindy Lou go to that dance tonight? With all the stuff in this wagon, I could fix her up so she'd be the prettiest girl there.
Oh, maybe you could, friendly. Maybe you could.
It'd sure be a good trick to play on Hattie and Fern. Why, if they couldn't tell my wagon at 50 feet, they'd never know Cindy Lou when I got done with her. Come on, Mr. Ponset.
What?
Well, a girl can't go to square dance all by herself. She's got to have an escort.
Oh, I suppose so, but, now hold on, friendly. What, you don't mean me?
Well, you're a friend of the princess. You said so yourself.
Why, I'm old enough to be her...
If we don't hurry, Mr. Ponset, square dance will be all over. Come on. Step lively there, Francis. Come on there, Peggy. Let's go traveling. Come on, Mr. Ponset.
I just don't understand, Mr. DeWitt. You mean you want to loan me a dress?
And all the trimmings, Cindy Lou. Before I get done with you, you'll be so dooted up that your own stepmother won't recognize you.
And you want to take me to the dance, Mr. Ponset?
Yeah, sure. That is, if you want to go. Yeah.
Well, that's right kindly of you both, but the fact is, I don't have no interest in attending the doings at the Crown.
Oh, you don't, huh? Well, in that case...
I don't know where you ever got such a notion, Mr. DeWitt. As if I cared anything about seeing Monty Prince again. Why, I haven't even thought of him since he went away to school. Not once.
Well, I reckon your stepsister Fern's done some thinking about him.
A lot of good it'll do her. Monty wouldn't look to... I mean, it's none of my business, one way or the other.
No, I guess it isn't. I'm sorry we bothered you. Let's go, friendly.
Okay, Mr. Ponset. Night, Cindy Lou.
Mr. DeWitt.
Was there something you wanted, Cindy?
I guess maybe I'm acting kind of ungrateful. I mean, well, you both did put yourself out for me, and it was real generous of you to do it. I don't suppose it would do me no harm to go to that square dance. For a little while, anyway. If you really want me to.
Well, now, that's more like it. Let's see now. The first thing we got to do is find a dress. You come on out to my wagon, Cindy. We'll pick something that'll make you look like a princess. Yes, sir, a real princess.
Well, I want to tell you, Friendly wasn't very far wrong. That's just exactly how Cindy Lou looked when she came out of that bedroom about half an hour later. And for a minute, we just stood there, just not saying a word, just staring at her.
Something wrong? Don't I look good enough to go to the dance?
Good enough? Why, Cindy Lou, you're as pretty as a picture. Ain't you, Britt?
Why, she sure is. Well, if you're all ready, Cindy, well...
There's just one thing. We forgot the shoes.
Shoes?
I don't have any party slippers of my own.
Oh. Well, you see, Cindy Lou, that's about the only item I don't stock in my wagon. I guess you can make do with the shoes you're wearing, can't you?
Oh, I don't see how. I mean, well, look at them yourself.
Yeah, no. No, wait. I am carrying one pair of fancy slippers. They're part of the Davis girls' wedding outfit.
Well?
No. I couldn't loan them to Cindy, though. I got to leave for the Davis ranch as soon as you two start off for the dance. I promised I'd be there first thing in the morning, and it's a good 8 hours drive in that wagon of mine.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Well, it was real nice of you both, anyhow. I'll never forget what you tried to do for me and how I felt when I put on this dress. And how wonderful.
Now, hold on, Cindy. Hold on.
It's all right.
Just let me do some figuring here. Let's see. If I was to leave here by midnight, I could be at the Davis place along about 8 a.m. That ought to be early enough. Well, there ain't no reason why you both couldn't be back here before 12 o'clock, is there?
No reason at all.
Well, then I guess the next thing to do is to find out whether them slippers will fit or not. I'll bring them right in.
Well, I just don't know what to say, Mr. Ponset. Nothing like this has ever happened to me before. It all seems like something out of a storybook.
You know, Cindy, I was just thinking the same thing.
Well, here you are, Cindy. Try them on.
Gee, they sure do look small, don't they?
Yeah. You think you can make it?
Oh, I don't... Oh, there. Oh, it is kind of tight, but...
Well, try the other one. If you can get one on, the other ought to go, too.
There.
Good. Now, you going to be able to walk all right?
Oh, I'll be able to walk all right, Mr. Stewart. The way I feel I could almost fly.
Well, then you better get started. You won't have too long to the dance, you know. And don't forget, Britt, you got to have her back here by midnight.
Don't worry, friendly. I won't forget.
You are listening to James Stewart as the six-shooter. The story of Britt Ponset, the Texas plainsman whose name has become legend throughout the great Southwest. Now, Act 2 of the story called When the Shoe Doesn't Fit.
I hoisted Cindy Lou up on Scar, and she managed to seat herself in front of the saddle. I kind of held on to her to keep her from falling off, and we started off for the Crown Ranch. It took us about 45 minutes to get there, and that party was in full swing when we walked into the parlor.
Rope your cow and brand your calf. Bring your honey an hour and a half.
Floyd Prince came over to the door when he saw us and told me we're more than welcome. He's real nice, considering I'd invited myself. I sort of managed to avoid mentioning Cindy Lou's name, and what with all the hubdub, Floyd didn't seem to notice that I hadn't introduced her properly. But Floyd's son, Monty, well, he didn't wait for any introduction. He just took one look at Cindy, and that was the last I saw of her. As far as I could tell, the other girls at the party were just completely out of the picture from then on. I waited until there was an intermission and the dancing, and then I moseyed over to the punch bowl.
Oh, can I help you, Mr. Ponset?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm Mrs. Ames, Hattie Ames.
Oh, how do, Miss Ames?
Oh, Fern, over here, dear. I want you to meet somebody. This is my daughter, Fern, Mr. Ponset.
I'm pleased to meet you, Fern.
Well, speak up. Fern's sort of shy.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, that young lady that you brought to the party, she doesn't seem to be spending much time with you, does she? Oh, that's the trouble when a man brings a pretty girl to a dance. He's apt to find himself all alone. Fern, stop your fidgeting. Of course, now, some girls have character as well as looks.
All right,
I say.
grab your partners for the next dance. Now, everybody join in.
Oh, my goodness. They're starting another dance. Now, Mr. Ponset, don't think that you have to ask my permission to dance with Fern. You just go right ahead.
Yes, Fern? Like I said, I'm not much of a square dancer, but there just didn't seem to be any way of turning Fern down. Well, I guess I should say there wasn't any way of turning her mother down. So, we did our best. Whoop. Sorry, Fern. As the evening wore on, it didn't look like she had any other part lined up. Well, I figured it was up to me to sort of fill in. Whoop. Oh, I sure didn't mean to kick you, Fern. There's one thing about her, though. She sure didn't talk a man to death. And somehow the time passed, and the next thing I knew, it was after 11 o'clock. Now, that meant Cindy and I had to be starting home, so I looked around for her, but she wasn't in sight. I excused myself from Fern and headed out the front porch. Yeah, Cindy was there all right, but the thing that surprised me was she was all alone. Looked like she'd been crying. Cindy.
Oh, Mr. Ponset.
What, are you all right?
Oh, I'm fine, just fine.
Where's Marty?
I don't know.
Well, maybe you'd better find him and say goodnight.
I never want to see him again. Not as long as I live.
Oh. Well, what happened? I thought you two were hitting off real good.
I thought so, too, at first. While we were inside dancing, everything was just wonderful. And then, all of a sudden, he started acting like he didn't care about me at all. Said he couldn't be spending all his time with one girl. He had to dance with some of the others.
Mm-hmm. Well, after all, the party is in his honor.
And that ain't all, Mr. Ponset. He didn't even know who I was.
Well, didn't you tell him?
Well, I thought sure he'd know. I never figured he'd forget me, not in just a few years.
Well, you've changed, Cindy, and the way you're all fixed up tonight.
Oh, that wouldn't matter. Not if Monty really liked me. I'd never forget him. I'd know him no matter how much he changed or how he dressed.
Well, all you had to do was just tell him who you were, you know.
No, I just couldn't. And you mustn't tell him either. You've got to promise me you won't. Now, please, Mr. Ponset.
Well, that's what you want. Well, I think maybe we'd better leave.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready.
You got everything?
I guess so. Why?
I don't know. I just thought maybe you'd lost one of your slippers or...
My slippers? Whatever gave you that idea?
I don't know. I just sort of crossed my mind somehow. Never mind. I'll get Scott. Well, it just goes to show you that stories in real life don't work out the same way. Instead of falling in love, Cindy and Monty Prince were just far away as ever, even farther. And there didn't seem to be any way of getting them together either. Leastways, he wasn't going to be able to do it by finding one of her slippers at the dance, that's for sure. As a matter of fact, she couldn't have lost a shoe at the dance if she'd wanted to. When we got her home, we found out she couldn't even get them off.
Doggone it, Cindy, you must not be trying. Well, you didn't have as much trouble getting them on.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. DeWitt. I'm doing my best. My feet must have swelled up from the dancing or something. The slippers just...
Here, let me do it.
Oh, sure.
Why, they're just plain stuck fast.
I know. Maybe in the morning my feet will go back to normal. And then you...
Hey, look out the window there, friendly. Isn't that a buggy out there?
Holy smoke. Fern and Hattie. So long, Cindy. Bye, Britt.
Oh, wait a minute, friendly. I don't want them catching me here either.
But what about the slippers in the wedding tomorrow?
The bride's wearing a long dress, reaches clear down to the floor. She can get married in the bare feet if she has to.
Well, thanks for everything.
Good night, Cindy. I'm sorry things didn't work out better for you, but good night. Well, along about noontime the next day, I was in my hotel room washing up for Sunday dinner. They were planning to serve fried chicken and corn fritters and apple pie. The Castle Hotel always put the food on family style, so I figured I'd better be real prompt or there wouldn't be any... Yeah? Yeah, come in. Oh, Marty. Oh, what are you doing in town?
I came to see you, Mr. Ponset.
Oh, is that so?
It's about that girl you brought out to the Crown last night.
Well, I sort of had the impression you weren't too interested in her.
Oh, I'm interested, all right. I wish I wasn't, but I am.
How's that?
Well, you see, Mr. Ponset, before I went back east, I was, I was real fond of another girl. Cindy Lou Ames, her name is.
Oh.
And we sort of promised that we'd wait for each other. But last night, that girl with you, well, she sort of made me forget Cindy.
She did, huh?
For a while, anyway. And then I remembered, and I felt real bad because it didn't seem like I was being fair to Cindy. So I went inside and I left the other girl to herself. But doggone it, all night long I kept thinking about both girls, and they sort of got mixed up in my mind. I couldn't even keep them straight.
Uh-huh. You've got quite a problem there, haven't you?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Good morning, Mr. Ponset. I finally managed to get... Oh.
Cindy Lou.
Hello, Monty.
Golly, it's good to see you. I was hoping you'd be at the dance last night.
Were you?
You know, you haven't changed a bit.
No, I guess I haven't. They're in this paper bag, Mr. Ponset. Those things I borrowed last night.
Oh.
I thought maybe you could return them to Mr. DeWitt for me.
Well, I'm not sure I'll be running into him again, Cindy.
Here, Mr. Ponset. Now be careful. Don't... Oh, Mr. Ponset.
Oh, doggone it, Cindy. I just sort of slipped out of my fingers. Well, here, I'll put these party shoes back in the sack. There.
Well, goodbye, and thanks. Goodbye, Monty.
Cindy, wait a minute. Where'd you get those shoes?
I don't know what you mean.
Why, they're the same ones. They're exactly the same. Cindy Lou, you were at the square dance last night. You and that other girl... Why, there wasn't any other girl. It was you. No wonder I couldn't get you straightened out in my...
What are you talking about?
Tell her, Mr. Ponset, what I told you just before she came in.
Well, I think maybe you better tell her yourself, Monty. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of anxious to get downstairs while there's still some fried chicken left, so...
Now, you listen to me,
you'll
Cindy.
excuse
I've
me.
been in love with you ever since I can remember.
I don't believe it.
Well, it's true. And it doesn't matter what kind of a dress you wear or how your hair is fixed or...
Well, there wasn't much point in my hanging around to see if Cindy and Monty would finally get together. There's only one way a story like this can end. I guess you know as well as I do. They were just bound to live happily ever after.
The Six Shooter is a transcribed NBC Radio Network production in association with Review Productions. It is written by Frank Burt and is based on a character created by him. Mr. Stewart may currently be seen in the Universal International picture The Glenn Miller Story. Others in the cast were Barbara Eiler as Cindy Lou, and Eleanor Audley, Sandra Gould, Bill Johnstone, and Sam Edwards. Special music for this program was by Basil Adlam, and the entire production is under the direction of Jack Johnstone. All characters and incidents were fictitious, and any resemblance to actual characters or incidents is purely coincidental. This is John Wald speaking. Hear MacDonald Carey in Jason and the Golden Fleece tonight on the NBC Radio Network. In a moment, you'll hear James Stewart as the Six Shooter. But first, Friday evening on NBC, hear the Dinah Shore Show and Songs with Sinatra. The Laughter starts tomorrow with the Bob Hope Show and continues with that wonderful Phil Harris-Alice Faye Show. But that's not all. You'll also hear Can You Top This and Fibber McGee and Molly. It's a great Friday night lineup of programs, all of them heard only on NBC. James Stewart as the Six Shooter. The man in the saddle is angular and long-legged. His skin is sun-dyed brown. The gun in his holster is gray steel and rainbow mother of pearl. Its handle unmarked. People call them both the Six Shooter. The NBC Radio Network presents James Stewart as the Six Shooter. a transcribed series of radio dramas based on the life of Britt Ponset, the Texas plainsman who wandered through the Western Territories, leaving behind a trail of still remembered legends.
Well, at first I didn't know what I was getting into. The town of Virtue City had never looked like this before. Banner over the main street, posters stuck in the store windows, bunting draped across most of the buildings. It was the wrong time of the year for the county fair. I pulled up the Mansion Hotel and headed into the lobby.
Yes, sir?
I'd like a room for the night.
Well, I guess we can fix you up, mister, if you'll just sign the book.
Sure. Here. Oh, by golly,
Never mind. I'll blot it up. You just stand back out of the way. I put a new point in that pen this morning, but I guess some people, well...
I sure am sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, that'll be 50 cents in advance, Mr. Ponset?
That's right. Here you go.
You're really Britt Ponset?
Well, if he ain't, he's sure been fooling a lot of folks for quite a spell. How are you, Britt?
Well, Doc Cross. Where'd you come from?
I've been sitting there behind that geranium plant. I thought I recognized you when you come in.
Oh, I'll be darned.
Well, here's your key, Mr. Ponset, number 12.
Oh, thanks.
About that ink blot, I know it wasn't your fault. They just don't make pen points the way they used to. Inferior workmanship.
Sure.
You in a hurry to go upstairs, Britt?
No, not especially.
Well, come on over to the window and sit for a spell. We can sort of keep our eye on the street and see what's going on.
All right, Doc.
Well, you been up to, Britt?
Oh, same as usual. I was riding herd over to Smoke Falls for the last 6-7 weeks. Probably go back there in the spring.
Uh-huh. Here, just let me get my instrument bag out of the way. Now, there's a place for you.
You treating somebody in the hotel?
No, not exactly. I sort of make my headquarters here in the hotel nowadays.
Well, what happened to your regular office?
Oh, I still got it. But, hotel's handier. What with all this fighting and shooting going on so much of the time.
Shooting?
You ain't heard the news, huh, Britt?
No, guess I haven't.
Well, you see, Gus Cotton moved into Virtue City a couple of months ago.
Gus Cotton?
You know who Gus is, Britt, that gunfighter. He used to be part of the McGinnis gang over at Willowfork.
Oh, sure, yeah, I've heard of him.
Well, it seems Gus and Tracer McGinnis had sort of a falling out. Gus decided it'd be healthier for him and his kid brother Roy to change residence, so they come over here. And by now, they've just about taken over the whole town.
Oh, I just can't believe that Sheriff Davenport would let a thing like that happen, Doc.
George Davenport was killed last August, Britt.
He was killed? No.
I reckon it was an accident. At least that's what the inquest said.
Well, who's taking his place?
There ain't been nobody so far. New sheriff will be elected tomorrow, along with the mayor and the usual town officers.
Oh, I see. So that's why the place all fixed up, huh? Election day,
Yeah.
huh? I was kind of wondering about that.
Yeah, it's been a real hot campaign, too. Sheriff part of it, that is. I ain't had so much medical business since the Apaches was moved on to the reservation.
Yeah, well, who's running?
Ernie Needle. He's one of the candidates. You remember Ernie Brett, the blacksmith?
Oh, sure. And there's a good man, too. He'd make a good sheriff, I imagine.
Yeah, if he wins. Roy Cotton's running against him, Gus's brother.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Of course, in a fair election, Ernie'd win hands down, but Gus Cotton's doing his best to see that it won't be fair.
He is, huh?
Yeah. Half the voters in town have been bought off. The ones who won't be bought, well, they've been threatened. Why, if anybody even... Britt, maybe you can give us a hand.
Huh?
I'm sort of chairman of the group that's backing Ernie Needle, the Citizens Committee to Keep Virtue in Virtue City. That's what we call ourselves.
I see.
Now, Britt, if you could join up with us...
Now, hold on, Doc. Now, I'm not a voter in this town. I'm not even a resident.
I know, but you've got influence. Lots of influence. And if you...
Well, Doc,
well, you have lots of influence, Britt. And look, if you was to come to our rally at the schoolhouse tonight and sort of sit up there on the platform next to Ernie Needle, well, that might win him some of Roy Cotton's votes.
No, I'm sorry, Doc. Now, this just isn't any of my business. Now, you know that as well as I do.
Now, Britt...
No, so long, Doc. Well, I went upstairs to my room. Number 12 was on the north side facing Ernie Needle's blacksmith shop. And looks like Ernie had closed up for the day. He's probably out politicking somewhere. The room seemed kind of stuffy, so I opened up the window. It sure was warm. Sounded like some more business was heading Doc's way. I leaned out, but I couldn't see anything. The shooting must have been around in front. Oh, well. Yeah? Yeah, come on in.
Howdy.
Howdy.
You're Britt Ponset.
That's right.
I'm Roy Cotton.
Oh?
Understand you were having a little chat with Doc Cross just now.
Uh-huh.
Doc a friend of yours?
Yeah, I guess you could say so, Roy.
Well, you know it's funny, ain't it, how friends sometimes get a man into trouble?
Oh? Is that so?
Yeah. Yeah. You plan to stay around town for long, Ponset?
Oh, I hadn't made up my mind yet. Why?
I was just wondering if you were going to be here for the election tomorrow. You heard about the election?
I heard about it.
Well, I wasn't anxious to run for sheriff, you understand, but old folks seemed to think it was my duty, so I had to oblige them.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it, Roy. You might not be elected.
I'll be elected.
Why, do you got the votes counted already, huh?
I'll be elected. If there ain't no outside interference.
I see.
So maybe it'd be best if you just moseyed on out without sticking around for the vote.
Well, the doc mentioned something about a rally tonight, asked me to attend.
You're not going to attend to no rally, Ponset.
That's exactly what I told the doc.
You turned him down?
That's right.
Well, I guess I needn't have bothered you.
But now that you mention it, Cotton, I'm sort of reconsidering my decision.
What do you mean?
Well, you're barging in here and ordering me around might make me sort of consider changing my mind.
Oh, now you listen here, Ponset. You ain't going to that rally tonight. You ain't even going to be in Virtue City after sundown.
I'm not, huh?
Well, if you are, you're just asking for me and Gus to do something about it.
Maybe I am, Cotton. Maybe I am.
Okay, Ponset. You had your warning.
You're right.
Yeah?
I'm not leaving town, so if you want to do something about it, this is as good a time as any other.
Huh?
That gun you're wearing's loaded, isn't it?
Well, sure, but...
Well, then why don't you go ahead and draw?
Well, you ain't got your six-shooter.
It's right here on the dresser.
All right. Well, I'd be taking advantage.
It might not work out that way. Well,
I don't want to shoot up no hotel room, Ponset.
The rent's paid in advance. All right, Cotton.
Now, look here, Ponset. My coming up here to see you, well, it was my brother's idea. Gus thought, now, what I mean is, he said that you was to have till sundown to get out of town, and he wouldn't like it if I was to jump the gun.
Well, I guess nobody exactly welcomes the idea of being told what he can do and what he can't do. And I suppose when it comes right down to it, I'm as stubborn as the next man. So, instead of leaving town, I had supper in the hotel dining room, and afterwards, well, I sort of moseyed over in the direction of the schoolhouse. There were only 3 or 4 horses out in front, a couple of buggies. Didn't look like the Citizens Committee to keep virtue in Virtue City had drawn much of a crowd. Well, I hadn't really planned on attending the rally. I was going to walk right by and head back to the hotel. But just as I started to move past the school, I spotted Roy Cotton waiting behind a big elm tree across the street. There was another fellow with him, bigger, older. Stood to reason he was Roy's brother, Gus. And it stood to reason that if I left without going inside, they'd figure they'd bluff me into keeping away. So, the meeting was in the combination 4th, 5th, 6th grade classroom, and Doc Cross was introducing the various candidates when I opened the door.
And as candidate for mayor, our good friend Cecil Potter. Oh, yeah. You all know Bo Spitzer, who's running for coroner. And last but far from least, the man who will be responsible for maintaining law and order. Ernie Needle, candidate for sheriff. Now, folks, I guess that's about all, so let's just... Wait a minute. Looks like we got us a visitor. Hey, sirree. Step right up here, Britt. Step right up here.
Now, wait a minute, Doc. I didn't mean to interrupt your meeting here. I was just strolling by.
Why, you ain't interrupting, Britt. You're a godsend. Folks, listen to me now. Now, quiet down. Quiet down, will you? Now, listen. Mr. Ponset's arrival here puts a whole new complexion on things.
What? Well, I sure don't see how
I
it
know
does
there
that.
ain't very many of us here tonight, and from the size of this meeting, it looks like we're fighting a hopeless battle. But we ain't. Not now. Not anymore. There's enough of us here to spread the word. We gotta see to it that by the time the polls open tomorrow, every voting citizen in Virtue City knows that the 6-shooter is on our side.
Now, whoa, Doc. Now, hold on here.
Amos, you take the folks who live west of Cedar Street. Al, you take the section over by the creek. I'll cover the area along Clinton Avenue. And another thing, you tell everybody that Britt will be right there at the polls to see that the voting's done on the up and up.
Now, Doc. Now, you listen to me, Doc. Now, see here, Doc. Now, you just see here, Doc.
Was there something you wanted to say, Britt?
Well, Doc, you know doggone well there's something I want to say. I'm not going to have folks running all over town claiming that I'm interfering in this election. Now, you just go and call them off, Doc, and you just stop them before it's too late.
Well, I'm afraid it's too late now, Britt. It looks to me like they're on their way. And I better get started myself. I'm going to make it over to my section before everybody's asleep.
Okay, Doc, okay. You just go right ahead, but you're going to be pretty foolish looking in the morning.
What do you mean, Britt?
I mean that I'm not taking part in your election tomorrow, no matter what you tell people.
You won't do your duty, huh?
My duty is to mind my own business.
Britt, the law says there's supposed to be one man at the polls who's unbiased, who's neutral, so to speak.
What?
Well, of course, your sympathies may sort of lie with Ernie Needle and our committee, but technically, you're nonpartisan. Seeing as how you can't even vote yourself, I mean.
How's that?
Now, look, Britt. All that I'm trying to do is to see that this election's carried off strictly according to the law. The law says we got to have us a nonpartisan president at the polls. Well, I'm not even certain that the election would be legal if you wasn't ashore.
Well, I wouldn't want to stand in the way of the election being I mean, if you're certain that... well, if it's really necessary. But honestly, Doc, I just can't believe that...
Well, it's up to you, Britt. Entirely up to you. Well, so long.
Now, Doc. Wait a minute.
Be set up in the hotel lobby, Britt. Polls open at 7 a.m. Just let your conscience be your guide, Britt. Let your conscience be your guide. Night.
Good night.
We'll return to James Stewart as the 6-shooter in just a moment. Meantime, I'd like to pass on a word of thanks for the many gratifying letters we receive each week from you, our audience. And this word of thanks comes not only from Jimmy Stewart, but from our director, Jack Johnstone, our writer, Frank Burt, our skilled technicians, in fact, all of us who are involved in the production of the program. We appreciate your letters far more than you may think, even though we may not be able to answer all of them. That is why we take this way of saying thank you.
Well, I just couldn't seem to get to sleep that night, and along about 5 a.m. I gave up trying. And it was just as well it did, because that was when Doc Cross showed up to take me down to breakfast. He kept saying that he wasn't trying to influence me one way or the other about being an election official, but as soon as we finished eating, he sure steered me straight toward that voting booth in the lobby. And the next thing I knew, somebody handed me a sheet of paper with a list of names on it, and people started filing up to get their ballots, and, well, the voting went off real smooth. There was just one shooting, and that turned out to be just a flesh wound. And when it finally came time to shut down the polls, just about everybody who was eligible had cast a ballot. There'd been a real good turnout, too. I didn't stick around for the counting. I figured I'd done my share, so I had some supper, and I went upstairs to my room. Oh, I sure was tired. Oh, not having any sleep the night before and having to sit around indoors all day. Well, I took my boots off, and I sort of stretched out flat on the bed for a couple minutes. I didn't intend to doze off. I was just trying to build up enough strength to go on with my undressing, but I don't know. Huh? What the Sam hell is it? Oh, yeah. Oh, is that you, Doc? Come in. Oh, what can I do for you?
We just finished counting the votes, Jeff Perkins and me.
Evening, Mr. Ponset.
Oh, howdy, Jeff. Well, well, how'd the election turn out?
Well, it's kind of hard to say, Britt.
Well, now, come on, Doc. Did Ernie win, or didn't he?
Well, no, Britt, no, he didn't win.
Oh.
But it could have been worse. It could have been lots worse.
I see. It was close, huh?
Oh, I wouldn't exactly call it close, Mr. Ponset.
Uh-huh. Well, suppose you just give me the figures, huh, Doc?
Well, in the race for sheriff, we figured that was the most important contest.
Yeah?
Ernie Needle got 7 votes.
7 votes, huh? Is that all?
Yeah, that was his total. We made certain.
And Roy Coffin, he got 33.
33. Well, I'm sorry, Doc, but I guess if the people want Roy for their sheriff, they're entitled to have him.
Yes. I'd say folks are entitled to whoever they want.
Well, I have to admit, I'm kind of surprised, though. I thought Ernie'd do better than that. By the way folks were voting, I just thought that he... Now, just hold on a minute here, Doc. There's something funny here.
Huh?
Now, you said Ernie got 7 and Roy Coffin 33.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's 33 and 7. That only makes 40 votes. Why, there must have been twice that many votes cast.
101, you know.
101. Well, that means there are about 60 ballots you haven't accounted for.
61, to be exact, Britt.
Yeah?
That's how many you got.
That's how many I got. That's how many who got?
Britt, it gives me great pleasure to announce that you've just been elected sheriff of Virtue City by a landslide. Congratulations.
Now, hold on here, Doc. What do you mean?
Mr. Ponset, it's the greatest write-in campaign in the history of this here town.
Yes, sir, Britt.
What? Well, I can't believe this couldn't be true. It's just plain foolishness.
The people have spoken.
Doc Cross, if you had something to do with
it was
this...
a spontaneous movement, purely spontaneous.
Well, whatever it is, you know doggone well I won't take the job of sheriff. I don't even live here.
We just checked the Virtue City and Corporation papers. It must have been an oversight, but They don't say a word about town officials having to be residents.
Well, if you've got the idea I'm accepting this office, you're just mistaken. Even if this election is legal.
Oh, it was legal, all right. It was legal. And as of right now, you are the legally elected sheriff.
Uh-huh. All right. Then I resign.
Yeah, I sort of thought you might feel that way, so I did a little more checking. And according to the town laws, you've got to submit your resignation in writing to the mayor, and he's got to prove it. But we don't have a new mayor yet. Not until you get sworn in.
Now, hold on a minute, Doc. It was the office of sheriff that I got elected to, remember? You told
right,
me.
Mr. Ponset. It seems the voters kind of got in the habit of writing in your name and well,
You don't mean they elect me mayor, too?
You had a 2-to-1 majority.
You don't mean... What?
Yep.
You didn't do so good for coroner, though. Bogue Spitzer beat you out by 4 votes.
But don't feel too bad about it, Britt. Bogue's a real popular man.
Well, I just don't know what to say. Well, this is the most outlandish thing I've ever heard of.
It is mighty unusual. I'll agree with you there.
Unusual? It's ridiculous. Well, I can tell you I've got no more intention of being mayor than I have of being sheriff.
I don't blame you, Britt. Britt, I don't blame you. About the mayor part, that is. As a matter of fact, you couldn't hold both jobs if you wanted to. There's a town ordinance against it.
I don't care if the... What'd you say?
Yes, sir. One man can't hold both jobs.
Well, that's something.
But like I said, your resigning the sheriff's position is kind of complicated, you see. Not only have we got the problem of who's going to accept the resignation...
I'm the mayor. I'll accept it myself.
Well, even so, according to our statutes, when the sheriff resigns or retires, the job goes to the man who got the second highest number of votes.
Oh, you mean Roy Coffin would take over my place?
That's the gist of it, Mr. Ponset.
Uh-huh.
So you see the spot you'd be putting us in, Britt.
Besides, Mr. Ponset, the people elected you, and they're entitled to have you. You said so yourself.
When I said that, I didn't have any idea that this... Oh, now, look here. There's got to be some way out of this situation. Now, Ernie Needle's the man this town needs for sheriff, and he ought to have the job. Isn't that what you wanted?
Well, maybe so, but... Well, I just don't see how we can work it out so he gets it. Oh, well, it's getting late. I guess you'll need your sleep. Probably have a big day tomorrow, what with all the swearing-in ceremony.
Now, don't run off, Doc. Now, this isn't settled yet.
Oh, like as not, things will settle themselves. They usually do.
Good night, Mr. Ponset.
Night. Oh, by the way, Britt, I'll just leave your star here on the dresser. There's a little rust on the point where the plating's wore off, but good polish and they'll take care of it.
Well, that was the second night in a row I didn't get much sleep. First thing in the morning, as soon as I figured it was time for the town hall to open, I headed down there and I did a little hunting through the legal code myself. And it was all true what Doc Cross had told me. If I gave up the job of sheriff, Roy Cotton would be next in line for it. Well, about 9 o'clock, a delegation headed by Doc Cross came in to make the preparations for the swearing-in ceremony. And I told them that the ceremonies just have to be postponed until I had a talk with the Cotton brothers. They were living in the old Peterson place on Flower Street.
You've got your nerve coming around here, Ponset. If you figure on making a name for yourself as sheriff by arresting us, you better do some more figuring.
Arresting you? You mean you boys have done something illegal?
No, he never said that.
Well, putting you under arrest was the farthest thing from my mind. Of course, if you think I should.
And just what is it you do want, Ponset?
Well, the fact of the matter is, it's my understanding that Roy here would inherit the sheriff's job if anything happened that I wasn't able to go on.
That's right, Ponset.
And like as not, something will happen, too.
Uh-huh. Well, I was just thinking that under those circumstances, it might be a good idea for Roy to get all the experience he can while I'm around to show him the ropes.
You want me to work with you?
Well, I don't see why not. Come to think of it, I could use you both as deputies.
Deputies?
Yeah. Yeah, that'll save me getting the whole big posse together. I think the three of us ought to be able to handle the McGinnis gang.
McGinnis?
Tracer McGinnis. You heard about him, haven't you? Oh, that's right. You all used to be sort of friendly, didn't you? Before you had that falling out with him, that is.
Gus?
You don't mean Tracer McGinnis is heading this way?
Oh, it's probably just another false rumor, but there's probably not a word of truth to it.
Yeah, but Well, why'd he be coming in here, Gus? Unless he's after us again.
Yeah.
Well, now, if you fellows would just hold up your hands, I'll give you the oath.
No, wait a minute, Ponset. Maybe it'd be better if you was to take out more of a posse.
Oh, now, Gus. Like as not, Tracer won't be bringing his whole gang. Maybe only 10 or 12 of them. All right, now, boys, you hold up your hands.
No, I ain't going to mix it up with Tracer McGinnis, Ponset. I had enough of him already.
But, Roy...
The kid's right for once.
Well, I'm afraid you fellas don't quite understand. Now, according to the ordinance passed 2 years ago come November, if any man refuses to take part in a duly constituted posse, he forfeits all right to hold office in the town of Virtue City from that time on. That'd mean that you couldn't be sheriff, Roy.
Gus,
I don't figure that's going to make much difference, Ponset. You see, we don't aim to stay around Virtue City anyhow.
Yeah, that's right. We were sort of planning to leave town today, weren't we, Gus?
Yeah, we were just doing our packing when you come in.
Well, maybe we ought not to wait to pack, Gus. Them McGinnis boys ride fast when they're on the move.
They sure do. Come on.
Oh, I wouldn't hurry myself too much, boys. If you ask me, I think you'll have plenty of time to finish packing before they get here. Plenty of time. Well, as things worked out, they needn't have heard it all. As far as I know, Tracer McGinnis never did show up in Virtue City. Of course, Ernie Needle became sheriff that very same day, right after I resigned. And I guess he hasn't had too much trouble keeping folks in line. You see, the Cotton brothers haven't been heard of since they beat it out of town. It just goes to show you, a person really shouldn't believe in rumors. It's funny the way they get started, isn't it?
The Six Shooter is a transcribed NBC Radio Network production in association with Review Productions. It is written by Frank Burt and is based on a character created by him. Mr. Stewart may currently be seen in the Universal International picture The Glenn Miller Story. Others in the cast were Carlton Young, Dal McKinnon, Paul Richards, Frank Gerstle, and Junius Matthews. Special music for this program was by Basil Adlam, and the entire production is under the direction of Jack Johnstone. All characters and incidents were fictitious, and any resemblance to actual characters or incidents is purely coincidental. This is John Wall speaking. Tonight, hear an address by President Eisenhower on the NBC Radio Network. In a moment, you'll hear James Stewart as the Six Shooter, just one of the many fine programs brought to you Sundays on NBC. Later this evening, listen to the NBC Star Playhouse with Leatrice Joy and Jeffrey Lynn. Hear Meet the Press, America's #1 news-making program. And be sure to keep tuned for the dramatic story of communism in America on Last Man Out. A wonderful lineup of great programs, all of them heard only on NBC. James Stewart as the Six Shooter. The man in the saddle is angular and long-legged. His skin is sun-dyed brown. The gun in his holster is gray steel and rainbow mother of pearl. Its handle unmarked. People call them both the Six Shooter. The NBC Radio Network presents James Stewart as the Six Shooter, a transcribed series of radio dramas based on the life of Britt Ponset, the Texas plainsman who wandered through the Western Territories, leaving behind a trail of still-remembered legends.
It had snowed during the night, a thick, wet snow that bowed the pine trees and banked over the pink boulders, turning them white. And I found myself lying under a good heavy 6 inches of it when I woke up. Gee whiz. Old Scar, he looked like a white-whiskered burro over there, standing beside what was left of the campfire, trying to shake himself dry. All right, take it easy, boy. Just wait till I get the fire started again. The wood I'd gathered up the night before was pretty wet, so I got a hand axe out of my pack and I headed over toward a little hill about a quarter of a mile away. Since the wind had been from the north, I figured some of the brush on the far side might still be dry enough for burning. Yeah, it wasn't very easy climbing. A couple of times I went in and way over my knees. But the snow was already beginning to melt fast, even though the sun hadn't splashed into the sky yet. And that meant we'd be able to start off in an hour or so. By then, the stuff would be thinned down to mostly mud and water. I hit the crest of the hill and looked around. The south side sliced away at a good sharp angle, and the ground was fairly dry. I spotted a couple of dead oak saplings lying on the ground about 10 feet below me. Seemed likely they'd catch fire without too much trouble. I was kind of surprised to find oaks growing at this altitude. Even so, I thought... there's some bothering Scar. Probably a jackrabbit or squirrel or something. They sure was making a lot of racket. Wasn't like him to get upset unless it... Well, that wasn't a jackrabbit. That was a whole lot more than that. I dropped my axe and I climbed back to the top of the hill as fast as I could climb. The sun was inching over the rim of Spooner Range, and at first the reflection off the snow blinded me. When I got my eyes focused, I saw the fella standing beside Scar, trying to cinch the saddle onto his back.
Hey, you! Hey, let that horse alone!
He looked up, and for a minute he just stood there as though he didn't know exactly what to do next. Then he jerked the leather tight and he put his foot in the stirrup. Scar wasn't being very helpful, but it didn't keep the fellow from mounting up. I knew I couldn't make it through the snow before they rode off, and I sure didn't like the idea of chancing a shot, not with Scar rearing the way he was. But I didn't have much choice. My first shot was wide, maybe 5-6 feet, and Scar was taking the spur and sort of starting to move in spite of himself. And another minute or two, they'd be out of range. Yeah, that was a little close, but not close enough. Bullet must have caught the fella high on the leg. He twisted around and tried to get a hold of the pommel, but his fingers slipped off, and I saw him slide into the snow. I couldn't see whether he had a gun or not, but I found out soon enough. I dived behind a clump of pines. There was a clearing between us, and he was using a boulder for cover. A little spray of snow told me I'd chipped the rock right in front of him. I waited for him to answer my fire, but there wasn't a sound from that side. Maybe he was just waiting, too, hoping I'd get anxious and come out in the open. Well, I wasn't going to be that obliging. He still didn't answer. I reloaded my gun. I edged over to the right. If I could just circle without him seeing me, maybe I could come up behind him. About 20 minutes later, I managed to skirt around the clearing. He was up front of me now, just a couple of boulders away. Got up on my haunches and I charged. And then I saw why I'd been so quiet. He was sprawled out, face down on the snow, staining it red. It wasn't just his leg that was doing the bleeding, either. There was a bullet hole in the small of his back, and the piece of cloth fastened over it had come loose. His gun was lying beside him, within easy reach. I picked it up. There was still one bullet that hadn't been fired. He started coming to, and I eased him over on his side, and his eyes kind of half opened, and it's just like his lids were too heavy for him to rise all the way.
There's still a lot of things in my time, but I ain't never been a horse thief before.
All right, you better take it easy.
What's the difference? I'm not gonna pull out of this anyhow. I guess I'm lucky. Dying here's a whole lot better than being caught. I always said they'd never hang me. All their rewards, wanted posters, just wasted time. I told them they'd never hang Ace Tressler.
Tressler?
You heard of me, ain't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard of you.
Everybody's heard of Ace Tressler.
One way or another.
Too bad it wasn't your shot that did it, mister. You could collect a mighty fancy reward. About $3,000 it must total up to. And that's not counting yesterday.
Yesterday?
Stage depot. Over to Sunset. Fell in charge. He didn't like the idea of being held up. That's how I got this bullet in my back.
Oh?
But I took care of him. He won't be shooting nobody else.
You killed Sam Fletcher?
I don't know his name, mister. You don't expect a fella to know the names of all the men he shoots, do you?
How'd you get out here without a horse? It's a good 20 miles from Sunset.
I had my pony till just a couple hours ago. All that snow coming down, he sort of missed his foot. Hurt himself bad.
I'd say.
I sure hated having to put him out of his misery. He was a fine horse. Best I ever owned. It's a rotten shame. Man having to kill a horse like that.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I tried to take yours. I had to have some kind of mount. There's a posse on my trail. I never stole a horse before, mister. I ain't no horse thief.
Well, you think you can hang on if I heist you onto the saddle?
What for?
Well, you need a doctor. Scar can carry us both.
Only doctors in Sunset.
That's right.
I'd never make it that far. Can't you see I'd never make it that far?
Well, you can try.
No, I'm not going back there. We might run into posse along that way.
Yeah, we might.
He'd string me up. Even though there was time, he'd string me up. And I swore that nobody'd hang me. I swore.
All right, turn over on your face here. I'll put that bandage back on.
Listen, mister, you can't let him hang me. I'll be dead anyway. Just a few hours. You can stay here until... And then you can take me back. You can say you done it. Collect a reward for yourself. $3,000, miss.
All right, come on, turn over.
As long as I'm... Anyhow... Let me die out here. Why do you want to give me... James lynch me?
Nobody's going to lynch you, Tressler.
Give me your word.
Yeah.
You won't let me down, mister. I swore that they'd never hang Ace Tressler.
He passed out again. But he was still alive, still hanging on by a thread. I managed to get a couple of makeshift bandages fastened onto him. The bleeding seemed to have let up a little. His leg wasn't hurt too bad. The bullet just sort of went through the flesh, and it didn't look like it had broken anything. But the wound in his back was more serious. As far as I could tell, the bullet had just gone all the way into his chest. I picked him up, and I laid him across Scar's back. Then I looped a rope around his body and Tried to fix it so that he wouldn't slide around too much. It wasn't going to be a very comfortable ride, but as long as he was unconscious, well, he wouldn't know it. All right, let's go, boy. Come on. We weren't able to make very good time with Scar carrying both of us through all that slush. It was almost 2 hours later before we came to the main Sunset Trail. And just as we turned on, I spotted the posse. At least what I figured was the posse. 5 men loping along toward us from the east. Doc Prince headed the procession. He was the local dentist. And I recognized Ty Barstow and Frosty Ender right behind them. 2 boys bringing up the rear. I didn't look familiar. They'd probably moved into Sunset since the last time I was there. Whoa, boy. Whoa, boy.
Well, howdy, Britt.
Hello, Doc.
Well, boys, what'd I tell you? I said he was Britt Ponset.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Easy, girl. Easy. I'm pleased to meet you, Mr. Ponset. I'm Cliff Slauson, and this here's Harv North.
How are you?
Hi. Yes, I recognize you the minute you come into sight. I said, there's a 6-shooter, I said. And I guess there's nothing the matter with my eyes.
Appears like you're carrying quite a load, Britt. What happened?
It's Art Tressler.
Huh?
Tressler?
No.
Well, I'll be doggone. Let's see here. Yes, it's him, all right. Leastways, it sure looks like them pictures on the posters.
Well, if that don't take their cake.
This neighborhood's getting to be a real outlaw's haven, I reckon. Well, maybe they'll change their mind about hanging around after they find out what happened today.
Yeah, we've done a pretty good job of taking in the welcome mat.
Pretty good. If you ask me, we set a record. With Ponset's help, of course.
Oh, you boys didn't need any help from me. You would have found Tressler yourselves before very long.
Well, what are you talking about, Britt? We didn't have the faintest idea he was in these parts.
Sure, we were already on our way back to town.
You mean you weren't looking for him?
Of course not.
Well, what are you doing out here, then? I thought you were a posse.
We are a posse, but we were hunting George Revitt.
Rabbit?
Yeah, you remember him, don't you? Robbed Phil Jeffers' general store a couple of years back. Almost killed old man Jeffers.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, sir, he broke out of jail a week ago. The one over to Polk City, and what do you think he did? He headed straight for Sunset, and he tried to pull another robbery.
Yeah, only this time he did kill Sam Fletcher while he was at it.
Now, just hold on a minute here, boys. Now, you're trying to tell me that you're looking for George Revitt, and that you think he's responsible for the robbery at the stage depot last night.
Think? We know it, Britt.
Of course we do.
But we ain't looking for him anymore. We found him.
What?
Yeah, just a couple hours ago. Hiding in a cabin over by Walnut Creek.
That's right, and he won't be pulling no more holdups neither. We saw to that.
No, boys. Now, you better let me explain this, Britt. He might think we was kind of hasty this morning. It isn't as if we didn't give Revitt a trial.
A trial?
Well, there was no doubt about his being guilty, Britt. And seeing as how there's no judge in Sunset, and we'd have to wait till next spring for a formal hanging, well, we sort of speeded things up a mite.
You didn't string him up yourself.
Well, not very high up, just a couple of feet off the ground.
Now, boys, wait just a minute now. Now, Britt, there's no point in your looking so all-fired serious. There's nothing anybody can do about it now.
Well, that's true enough, Doc. Yeah, there's nothing anybody can do.
We'll return to James Stewart as the 6-shooter in just a moment. Now, hear this. Within the next 20 seconds, a fire will break out somewhere in the United States. Lives may be lost, property damaged, homes or buildings destroyed. There are 4,600 fires in America every day of the year. They kill 11,000 persons and disfigure or severely burn thousands more. The unfortunate part of this picture is that most of these fires could be avoided. For example, 90% of all fires that start in the home can be traced to human carelessness. By obeying a few simple rules of fire prevention from now on, you and I can protect our homes and our families from this devastating menace. Rule 1 is, don't smoke in bed or discard lighted cigarettes carelessly. Rule 2, go through your house and clean out old newspapers, magazines, and other inflammable debris. Rule 3, promptly repair defective wiring as soon as you notice it. Fire won't wait until tomorrow. Rule 4, use only those cleaning fluids which will not burn. And last but not least, Be careful with matches. Keep them out of the reach of small children. Remember, it doesn't pay to gamble with fire. The odds are against you every time. Now, Act 2 of The Six Shooter, starring James Stewart as Britt Ponset.
Well, I just didn't know what to say. Hayes Tressler hadn't been lying when he told me about robbing the depot and shooting Sam Fletcher. A man doesn't confess to something like that when he thinks he's ready to cash in, no. And as for George Rabbit, he'd caused folks trouble ever since he was a kid. He'd been mixed up in all sorts of gunfights, too, fights that usually ended up somebody else dying. But he hadn't killed Sam Fletcher. That's one thing he hadn't done.
Well, looks like Tressler's still with us.
Yeah. Well, I'd better get moving.
Well, you want us to take him into town for you, Britt?
That's a good idea.
No, thanks. You see, I gave him my word that he was going to a medical doctor.
I don't get you.
You see, he was afraid he might be lynched.
Well, we ain't got no grudge against Tressler, Britt. Oh, I guess he's as mean as they come, but he ain't never given us no bother in Sunset.
Is that so?
I told you. We didn't even know he was in these parts.
Well, I guess you should have known it, Doc.
Huh?
He's the man who shot Sam Fletcher.
What's that? Oh, I know what you're up to, Britt. You're just joshing us. You're trying to make us feel like we've done something wrong and take care of George Ribbit.
Well, all I'm saying is that Tressler told me he's held up the stage depot last night and he killed the fellow in charge.
You ain't serious.
I'm about as serious as I can be.
Oh, but, Britt, that don't make sense. Why, it had to be Ribbit.
What made you so sure?
Well, we knew he broke jail. And somebody said they thought they seen him in town yesterday. Now, let me see who. Oh, it was Johnny Silks, I think.
Yeah, and we picked up his trail not far from the depot.
Well, he led right to that cabin on Walnut Creek where we found him.
He admit the robbery and the shooting?
Well, you don't expect a man to admit a thing like that when he knows there's a rope waiting for him.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you.
Oh, no, wait. Now, hold on now, Britt. You're wrong about this. Why, you just gotta be wrong.
You think I'm lying, Doc?
No, of course not, Britt, but everything pointed to Revitt.
Well, maybe Tressler was just making that up, what he told you.
Well, how did he find out about the robbery, then?
Well,
Now, Britt, you know we wouldn't have done anything if we weren't certain in our own minds that we were right. Why, you know that. It's possible we made a mistake. Well, I'm not saying that we did, but it is possible.
No?
Well, even if we did, Revitt deserved hanging. He's deserved it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at. We didn't do any harm, Britt. Not really.
You didn't, huh?
Oh, of course not. But if you were to tell folks about this, well, they might not see it our way. They might figure that we took too much on ourselves. So you won't say anything, will you?
Well, all I'm doing is taking Tressler into town. Whatever he says after he gets there, that's up to him.
Well, I know, but I don't
need to worry about Tressler. He ain't going to say nothing.
Huh?
Well, take a look.
Yeah, he was dying. Wasn't any doubt about that. I cut the rope that was holding him on the scar's back and carried him over to a dry space just off the trail. And just before I could put him down, he gave a little shudder, and I felt the life ease out of his body. Well, he'd been right about one thing. Nobody would ever hang Ace Tressler.
Guess that saves you a trip into Sunset, eh, Britt?
Well, I was heading for there anyway, Frosty.
Oh?
As long as I've come this far, I might as well go the rest of the way.
Well, I don't...
Now, look here, Britt. Ace is dead.
Yeah?
Well, then don't you see that there's nobody to say whether he was the one who killed Sam Fletcher or not?
Nobody but Britt.
That's right.
Now, suppose we did go off half-cocked. Suppose we were kind of hasty with Revitt. Well, we're sorry about it, but there's nothing we can do for him now.
It seems you told me that before.
Well, it's the truth, ain't it?
Sure.
Well, then what would you gain by getting us into hot water? Letting people know that we kind of overstepped the mark?
Is that what you call it? Overstepping the mark?
Well, it'd be different if Revitt was innocent.
Well, somehow I got the idea that he was.
Well, yes, of this robbery, maybe, but, he...
I had a brother, Ponset. He'd be alive today if it wasn't for George Revitt.
Mm-hmm. Is that why you hung him, to get even for your brother?
No, of course not. We were just doing our duty as citizens. We thought he shot Sam Fletcher.
Well, why are we standing here arguing? If Ponset wants to try and make trouble, well, he ain't got no proof. It's his word against ours.
That's right. Cliff's right. We can even say that Revitt confessed. Why, everybody in Sunset will believe us.
Well, then I don't see what you're so worried about.
Well, we ain't worried, Britt. Not really, of course we're not. I know you pretty well. We've been friends a long time. Why, you're not going to go out of your way to stir up a hornet's nest? No, I'm sure of that.
Well, I ain't so sure. Just a minute, Ponset. You're not leaving here yet.
Now, Frosty.
And, boys, it's about time we start using our heads. If he goes into town and spreads this story around, they'll all believe it. Whatever Britt Ponset says, that's gospel.
But he ain't going to say anything.
That's right, he ain't. Because he ain't riding into Sunset. He's turning around and heading east.
Is that so?
I know you're a fast man on the draw, but there's 5 of us. You're not that fast.
No, I reckon I'm not.
Now, we don't want to get into any mix-up with Britt, Frosty.
What do you want? People to start saying we murdered George Revitt?
Murdered? Well, that ain't what we done at all.
His family might not agree with you, Cliff, if they found out the truth about that holdup last night. And he's got a brother, too.
Well, maybe there is something in what Frosty says, but we can't stop Britt. Now, if he takes it upon himself...
We stopped Revitt, didn't we?
Frosty?
Put that gun away.
Sure, I'll put it away. After I'm sure that Ponset's riding east. And I'm warning you, Britt. You ever breathe a word about what Tressler told you?
I don't like being ordered around, Frosty.
Then just keep away from Sunset. Now move. I said...
Well, I held my ground. I knew Frosty Ender pretty well. I knew he wouldn't shoot. His business with Revitt had pushed him into deep water, but not that deep. I watched his jaw muscles tighten up, and I saw a little bead of sweat begin to gather between his eyes, and for a minute nobody said anything. And then Ty Barstow shoved forward.
I told you to put it away, Frosty. Wasn't what we already done today bad enough? You want to kill somebody else?
We done nothing wrong. Get that through your skull, Ty. Revitt deserved to hang, and we hung him.
What about Britt? Suppose he deserves being shot?
No, not unless he asks for it.
That gun you're holding just proves how wrong we were this morning. If we'd been right, you wouldn't need it.
Shut up.
If we'd been right, we wouldn't be standing here feeling ashamed. Even you feel ashamed. That's why you don't want nobody to hear about it. That's why you're threatening Britt.
Yeah, and I'll make good on that threat, too.
No, you won't. Because we're going into Sunset and tell him what happened. We're going to take our medicine.
You gone loco?
And it ain't just because Revitt didn't kill Sam Fletcher, even if he had. Well, he still wouldn't have been right. Oh, I reckon we wouldn't have found out so quick, but we'd have found out sooner or later.
You know what's the matter with you, Ty? You're yellow. You got a streak a yard wide down your back. You were just as anxious to string up Revitt as the rest of us. Things didn't turn out the way you figured.
Yeah, that's true enough.
Yellow, that's what you are, clear through.
You've got the gun, Frosty. You can stop me if you want to. Doc, you coming along?
Yeah.
Cliff, Harv.
Okay.
Sure. Hey, you crazy fools. We didn't do nothing wrong. What's the matter with you? Hey, why can't you see that?
Frosty kept on yelling until they were almost out of sight. And then he turned and shook his head like he couldn't figure out what had happened. I picked up Tressler's body and I laid it across Scar's back. And Frosty swung around and stared at me.
If it hadn't been for you, folks would have said we'd done fine. Nobody would have known about Tressler. Why'd you have to meet up with him today? Why?
Because it snowed last night and his pony stumbled and he needed another horse.
That ain't no reason.
No, maybe not, Frosty. Maybe not. You coming into town?
Yeah.
Let's go.
$50,000 trained nurses are needed now, today. Nurses to serve humanity in hospitals and private duty, in teaching and research, in the Veterans Administration and the Armed Forces. And although a nurse's training means a thorough professional education at far less expense than 4 years of university, it offers a curriculum which includes such fascinating studies as psychology, sociology, and chemistry. And upon graduation, the student becomes a registered nurse and in some schools obtains a Bachelor of Science degree as well. These, then, are the facts of a nursing education. The need has never been greater. The opportunities for a vital, useful career have never been finer. For further information, we suggest that you contact your nearest hospital. The Six Shooter is a transcribed NBC Radio Network production in association with Review Productions. It is based on a character created by Frank Burt and is written by him. Mr. Stewart may currently be seen in the Universal International picture The Glenn Miller Story. Others in the cast were Robert Griffin, Harry Bartell, Lamont Johnson, Howard McNear, and Forrest Lewis. Special music for this program was by Basil Adlam. The entire production is under the direction of Jack Johnstone. All characters and incidents were fictitious, and any resemblance to actual characters or incidents is purely coincidental. Oh, by the way, you'll be interested in knowing that the Six Shooter has been chosen for broadcast to our men overseas through the facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Services. This is John Wall speaking. Tonight, listen to Sunday at Home on the NBC Radio Network.